All right. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning. It is the 12th, Tuesday morning. So we will get started. I wish there was a lot of movement out there, but unfortunately, with the CPI data tomorrow, everything is a little stagnant right now. A lot of concern, a lot of red, a lot of worry. Some interesting comedy out there. Um, when I say interesting comedy, um, yesterday, we were laughing about natural gas because they were like, "Oh, due to colder temperatures in the Northeast, right?" And then today it says due to warmer temperatures. I'm like, maybe it was a misprint. Maybe yesterday wasn't really cold, but it's funny. Hot, cold, hot, cold. There's always an excuse for it to go higher, right? They're always coming up with something. So yeah. Anyway, there was some, I don't want to say negative data, but some comments from the BOE, talking about economic activity is really weak in August. That's kind of hurting the pound. You see the euro pound down 33 or up 33, um, has a 40 pip ATR. So that's statistically quite a large move. Yeah, go watch your show. Go watch your show. Um, Statistically, that's the biggest mover on the board right now. You can see the pound yen -6. It's like nothing, right? Aussie dollar 12, 18 is nothing. It's going down again still. Dollar Swiss 9, nothing. 67 over here, 60 in the pound dollar. Again, that's that weakness kind of lumping in. And then the euro dollar 11. So not even, it's 11, it's red, but the last hour has been kind of creeping back up again with dollar weakness. So, dollar's kind of in a range. A lot of people are looking at tomorrow's number and they're really concerned about what's the Fed going to say? Is it going to be a pause? Is it not going to be a pause? If it is, what does it look like? Are they going to raise again? How long are rates here for? I mean, there's a lot of questions out there that people don't really know, but data overall is good. I mean, the claim account actually really, really good, right? I mean, they were expecting a 17,000. Last time was adjusted. They thought it was 29. That there's a lot more people claiming, but it was really only 7. It wasn't really as bad, and so it's kind of a double double. And you would think, well, it's pound strength coming in. Yeah, but I mean, there's an adjustment, and that's again, people are not necessarily getting laid off, but again, economic activity was considered weak, so it's kind of more forward looking than anything else, and that makes it kind of a weird scenario, right? But um, it is what it is. We knew the UK was going to have some additional problems. That's nothing that was too surprising, right? That was going to be there. So yeah, we'll see. All right. Yeah. Besides that, that's the biggest thing was that claimant information. The economic sentiment was expected to be. It was negative. It was expected to be negative. It wasn't quite as negative it was before. So the euro was getting a little bit of a bounce from that. And again, it's just kind of taking advantage of it. No U.S. data today. Steve Forbes says that the Fed's not going to cut rates soon. Again, the Fed has been very clear about they are not cutting rates soon. That wasn't going to happen until the end of 2024. Is when they thought that data would. That's when that was going to happen. So yeah, I don't think that's kind of changed. Right, nothing in there. As far as inflationary tools, you can see the Kremlin, the grain deal is still on hold, no progress yet. Not surprised with that one. There was a deal, they let things through, and they're like, listen, we let things through, but there was going to be, purchases of fertilizer and all this other stuff, and that stuff never occurred. So again, don't take any sides, cross out both sides of that one. It's like we had a deal, you didn't live up to your deal, so why should I care about the rest when you were supposed to do the other half, right? So you know, it is what it is. It's kind of a one-sided thing in there, right? Um, it is what it is, right? I mean, they're occupying another country, and that you want them to play fairly. I think the expectations of that were a little bit off, but yeah. And then again, central bank set for higher for longer era to fight inflation, 100%. But they've been clear. They've said that for a while that we're going to get restrictive. We're going to hold it there for a while until it's controlled. And again, it's changing times. It is what it is. Tomorrow morning, we have GDP for the UK expected to be negative again. While we're starting to see some of that weakness rolling in, and then at 8:30 before we meet, we have all the CPI data. Now today, I expect the markets to be somewhat crippled slash somewhat more negative um, in how they're going to move because of tomorrow's CPI data. Now remember, core is really what's most important, right? Everybody was so focused and everything it's working, it's looking good. We're going to hold rates. Look at that CPI data. And then once the CPI data didn't meet the narrative, then it was like, well, core is really what matters, right? And it's funny how it goes back and forth, right? The CPI data, which again is what everybody was claiming was coming down, like, yeah, we're almost there. It's expected to go up and not just up like point 0.1, or point 0.2. It's expected to go up point 0.4, which, kind of a little bit of a significant. I mean, that's, two raises, two things in a row. Core expected to hold, again, not reducing. But on a monthly basis, look at the monthly basis, right? Not the yearly, but the monthly basis. That's kind of a big piece there, right? Showing that there's an increase. And again, a lot of that is energy, right? A lot of that is definitely energy. But remember, you can look at this, and we always said that the core was the most important, right? To see what was moving because it strips out energy. But remember, energy's been super low, and that's why CPI to me said I said it didn't matter. Well, guess what? Energy's definitely going higher, which tends to roll into other things. Question is, are we going to see a core raise over here, which could be a problem? And again, this is why I still think there's going to be one more, at least one more raise. I think there's going to be a pause and then a raise. Is what's going to happen. So yeah, so that's going to be a big one. All eyes are going to be about that. Everybody's going to be talking about it with the CPI data is making everybody nervous, right? But again, I don't know. It doesn't tell us a ton. I see, bud, but I'm busy. Go ahead. Go ahead. Here, you want this? Here, take this. Okay. He gets very, very excited. He's watching Masha and the bear, and he gets so excited. He's like, well, he's got to come get me and tell me. I'm like, I got it. I hear you. Anyway, VIX a little bit higher than yesterday, kind of creeping, and part of that, part of the reason why is because there was, red in the indices. They're starting to rally back again. You can see the Russell is positive. Everything else is just slightly down right now. Even the dollar, right? So we're up 3% here. Great, buds. Shut the door. You're gonna need stock. Dollar, it's up a little bit, but we're still in a range. Again, there was the gap here from the Friday to Sunday, and we're kind of back in the same area. We bounced around this 105 number, never really got a clean entry. You're looking for a kind of a Harry Potterish trade, and down and up, no entry, right? Down and up, no entry. Base, 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 gap. So again, we're looking for a fall through here, but we haven't gotten an entry for it, right? Or a reason why we'd pull the trigger. So it's still kind of there. And again, this was the old gap. You can see we gapped into it and we're playing with it right now. So if we're going to reverse today on the dollar, this is where it's going to occur. And again, could the dollar push down in and then at the same time the indices all kind of creep a little bit positive? Absolutely, sure. Sure, yeah. Yeah, that's again that would kind of make some sense, really having no movement today because again, everybody's focusing on tomorrow. Commodities. Yeah. Look at crude. Up 1.7 again, up 1.5, 88.88 or 88.83, right? Um, yeah. As a consumer, I'm like, I mean, yesterday we said, hey, listen, if this thing breaks, I mean, it had been at a level 4 times. If it broke any higher, like 89, 90 were on the cards. Um, 88, 85, 88, 85. And surging. We said, yeah, you could hit 89 tomorrow. It's like, oh God. Right. And it did. It went through. It kind of peaked. It said, oh yeah. Recocked the barrel, and then boom. It's like, oh, so we're there. And then again, we'll break that down even more. But then natural gas there, we had this kind of position yesterday, and I mean, it found the base, right? Once the base came in down here at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you're like, yeah, it's gonna go, right? It's gonna go. So we'll break that one down even more. We saw, but look, natural gas rises on long-term forecast turning warmer. Right? Yesterday it was colder. Now it's warmer. Right? So every day we roll the dice. We see which one it's going to be. Is it hotter? Is it colder? Which one is it going to be? And they're switching back and forth. But gold and silver. Look at gold, 1910. Right? And then silver just broke through that 23 mark. So dollar kind of going up a little bit. People are getting nervous, but they're sending these two back to where they thought they needed to be. And again, gold yesterday was definitely quite higher, and it's done nothing but kind of fall down there. We were looking for that. Same thing with silver. Silver is maintaining more, but we knew that we are going to have a problem, and it bounced right off of it. So we'll break those down a little bit. Here's the Aussie. So Aussie, we knew we had a level of basing. No entry here, no entry here, no entry here. There's kind of more of an entry right now that we're seeing. It did drop in one candle and kind of went back up and then kind of pushed down again and grabbed it. So you could be in this trade right now. We'll put it on there, right? That was the draw from yesterday. If anything, though, I would say that there's probably more of a base occurring in there. Maybe is it there? No, it's probably this base because here's the pullback, the shoot down, and it went up and grabbed it. So it's probably more that base was the right one. There's your 1 to 3. So we're still below your profit target line, right? And we'll see. Again, it's going to depend on what the trend is for the dollar today. Is it going to be weak? I mean, it's positive right now. It's hit it. It's pushed down. Kind of came back up and geared up. Again, we're looking for that break of 64.23. We're in it right now. Not much to say. I do think it comes down today. I think we do see a little bit more dollar strength roll back in because people are, again, the concern over inflation is, are they going to raise interest rates again? Is there going to be strength coming back in? And if people are going to start getting negative on it today, they're negative because of interest rates rising, which is dollar strength rolling back in. So again, we'll see if that is the continued play, right? Um, I don't know. I don't think the market's going to have major movement today. I think everybody's going to break it. Be so focused and break down what's going to happen tomorrow. This is not a bad little trade. This happens again. It showed us there's no buyers there. Obviously, the sawtooth here is where the kind of basing would have come in at. And again, that's what we went back and pulled and grabbed. So it's there. We'll see. Again, it's got to clear through this beginning window. Again, always hard when a Harry Potter triggers kind of right at kind of the session open, because again, that kind of I don't want to say it makes things weird, but it definitely changes things to where you got to be cautious with that. All right, Aussie yen. Aussie yen. So yesterday we talked about, we had this chop back and forth. We really needed to clear, and you can see it kind of it tried its best. It kind of cleared, came back, and then kind of went right back in that side of that same range. And late last night, it tried to push up again, found those same sellers. Now it has actually hit a level, but unfortunately there were sellers bracketed right below it. Right, there's obviously buying occurred here. Right, went down, green, red pull back, and then green shut off. So there's obviously buyers there, and that's kind of what to grab right now. So for right now, again, is this a great level? We said it was an aggressive level. It was okay, right? It's super deep, up top. So not necessarily the best of levels. We were, at this point, I would say, yeah, we have hit it. And had you taken that trade, had you taken that trade in there, your 1 to 3 is right there. So you would have made it out. It's only 6 pips. So it was 6 for 18. We mentioned that it was rather small. You would have gotten out on your 1 to 3. It would have made it actually within. It's funny. Look, I drew the line on the 1 to 3. It's actually 3.2 is where it's at right now, is actually showing that it did go past, but it's sitting right on top of my buy line. So again, if you traded that one, you were good. Again, it was like 20 pips and 18 pips, 20 pips, depending on how you drew the zone. It's out now and then coming back up again. So we need to remove it, right? But again, it was a decent level. Could bounce off of it one more time, but not interested in taking again. I think the next thing we're looking for is 94.64 up top. Now, 94.64, a little bit more risk involved in this one. You're talking about 10 pips. I'm totally good with 10 pips. This one has a daily ATR of 80, right? 4-hour ATR of 29, almost 30. So again, 10, I'm okay with that. It will require a reversal, right? It would look something along these lines, right? 1 to 3 only puts it right there. So again, not a bad. Again, it'll be creep right up. Not a bad little kind of rally back to that same level. And again, the buy line that we've already had, again, supported down here, it's sitting right on top of it. So, not the worst of sections. Again, very, very high in the curve. Do we break out of the top side? Do we get to 95? I don't know. There's a lot of talk about yen and the yen fighting inflation, right? The yen and really how they fight inflation. Okay. Yeah. So again, kind of where we're at. Other side, 93.74. Euro dollar. All right. So euro dollar. This one, unfortunately, late last night at 11:30, we had a zone sitting in there. We were looking for shorts. It was a 23.6 area. We liked it. There was kind of this one little box up top. We had that surge early morning, and we said, yeah, you probably would have been fine on that one. It was like a half a pip above or whatever, and kind of to push back again. And then it really flatlined, didn't do anything. It just stopped. It's like, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking for it to roll back again, and then kind of pulled back, and then all of a sudden we had this little pop, and boom, right? This was late last night, right around 9 o'clock. Quick spike up, blew the level out, and went for this higher zone, and then went all the way down. So, yeah, this is one of those ones. Worst case scenario, you know what? You got stopped out on it. It cost you 10 pips. It happens. It ended up going where we wanted to. It ended up going a little higher, right? It ended up going a little bit higher to this level of basing, this drop, base, and drop, and that's where it went to, right? Right there. Look, if I block this one off, you guys can see it, right? There's your base. Your chop back and forth. And that's what it hit before it went down. So again, this is one of those ones we were trying to use the 23 to help us out. It had been here 1, 2, 3. It had been here really 4 times. This is a 4th hit. We expected it to break, but we still kind of felt confident that it would turn from there because it became the 23 here. It wasn't originally. So we were hoping that that kind of made up for the fact that it was 4. It didn't. Unfortunately, the 4th one did break it. It based. And then all of a sudden it was like, wait a second, what's going on? It grabbed the top level and then went exactly where we thought it was going to go to. And we said it would probably turn here, and it did. So one of those ones we kind of had wishful thinking on there. We were hoping that the new level of 23 people, that the fib traders would come in and help this one. They didn't. Unfortunately, the fib traders failed. Um, it just it is what it is. Sometimes that helps, sometimes it doesn't. There's no guarantees in the market, and really, again, sometimes you take the aggressive entry knowing that there's an additional risk. Being a little bit more aggressive on this one costs us. Sometimes we miss trades because we're not aggressive. Sometimes you take the aggressive trade versus the other one, and it works. And again, being conservative was the way to play this one, right? The aggressiveness, even though it was a fourth hit, we're like, nah, and that it went ended up a grabbing conservative. So nothing that says though you couldn't have lost 10 here and then taken the 10 up top and made place that trade, right? Nothing worse than missing a trade, having two zones, being aggressive, and then missing it out. Be like, that's it, I quit on this one, I'm done. And then it goes and grabs the conservative. So the reality is you should be this should have been two trades, one loser, one winner. Your loser would have been -10. Your winner would have been +30. Or if you were continuing to hold it, actually a green, red, green would have been here. So you would have gotten yourself out. Let's see. Let's see. What would you have trailed this one to? There's 1 to 4. 1 to 3 is there, and you were just surging, right? And then down here, right, you have a green, you have a red, it's looking to break, right? You can say, okay, I'm gonna either trail it there, and that's 1 to 3.5, or you can say I'm gonna protect myself there, and it would have stopped through at 1.4. So in this case, you would have risked 9, made 41. If you'd done it off the top of the red candle, you would have made 35. So you would have lost 10, but made 35. You would have ended up plus 25 on the trade. So either way, it wouldn't have worked, or it would have worked just fine. Okay. Yeah. So that one's out. Where we go with the now? Again, it's in an area of buying. It's going to start chopping back and forth. We'll see if the dollar strength or dollar weakness comes in there. See, it says 35 minutes ago. Dollar strength is as prices are expected to remain hot. Yeah, I mean, look at oil at 88 right now, right? And that's just, again, people will say, oh, well, core, let's remove oil. But guess what? The price of gasoline affects shipping. So eventually it will catch up to us and it will push. Um, it will it will start to affect that core number. I don't know. Maybe there's another strategic oil reserve release, but that's going to piss off Saudi Arabia and, Russia even more. So I don't know. At this point, we know that it's in. We need some positive data from China, or some type of somebody found, I don't know, maybe we need horrible data from China to show that demand is low, right? Since we know that the cuts are in until December. How about what's that? Sorry, he's bouncing around. All right, you're a pound. So you're a pound. We were calling for it to push back down. It did. It ended up finding the buyers right around the 618, and that's why we drew the arrow to here. Thought it would kind of stagnate a little bit more, but the reason why we drew it to here was because the 618. And you can see this level right here. And if you draw a line across, you can see, whoops, exactly what it ran into, right? Those are the buyers right there that we ran into. There's the top of the wick right there. And that's what we ran into there. So again, it turned exactly where it should have. We're looking for it to push back down. We're getting super, super high on it again. And we're rallying up. And again, there was decent European data. There was crappy pound data. And that's why it's surging back up to this 8602 mark. Now, the 8602 mark, again, not the freshest of levels. It was an old 618. It chopped back and forth, pretty ugly, and then touched here. So we know that it barely grazed the level, and you're seeing it's starting to run into people here, but it is higher. So I expect that it will push higher in this zone. I would kind of like to see a decent top put in to use this level. Again, Euro pound only has a 37 pip ATR, right? 37.8 pip. So let's just round it up to 38. It's not the biggest mover, right? It's no pound yen. So, with understanding that, yeah. Is there a trade set up in this one? Are you going to make 80 pips in a move on this one? Probably not. But our bearish thinking up top will help us out. And again, knowing that we have sellers up here, especially after a day where the pound is down again, anything even remotely positive for the pound should take and turn this and roll this back down again, and then trade it in the pound yen or the pound dollar. We're seeing a little bit of dollar strength today, right, in preparation for that. If we have pound weakness that continues through today, going into CPI tomorrow, that could be a decent long for the pound dollar. And you may say, why? Well, If we're seeing pound strength today and the CPI numbers don't come in as bad as what they're predicting, and instead of a point 0.6, maybe it comes in a point 0.5 or a point 0.4, or I'm sorry, instead of a point 0.4 increase, maybe it's a point 0.4 or point 0.2 increase. I'm sorry, point 0.3, point 0.2. If it's not as bad as expected, right? That's a change, right? Or maybe it comes even worse. Maybe it's point 0.5 or point 0.6. But if we're seeing dollar strength today and we're seeing pound weakness, that leads us into a reversal for tomorrow, right? So yeah, potential. We got so much time from now till then, though. And knowing that we're coming up here and coming up into an area of sellers, that's a decent area. We should see a turn and roll back to the downside. Okay. But 8602, again, that's where we've touched before. There's a big level there. It is a 61.8 in the last push down. Again, a sloppy 61.8. It's been all the way up multiple times. Again, we see a turn and back in that downward direction. Okay. Euro yen. All right, so euro yen. We drew this one yesterday. We talked about it. There was a level to 61.8. You can see a turn right before, and then it's been chopping. It's having a very, very hard time with this level here. It's right in the middle. We kind of have a racetrack to the top side. Yeah, I see. I see. Go ahead, Buckethead. Go ahead. At this point, coming through the top side of this one, I think we're looking for kind of a clean long, right? We're looking for one of these right here. Let's see how far it needs to move. And the reason why we're looking for long is because, again, there was the original. The 61.8 was there. We had this touch. We had this, and it actually sliced through. Started the base, started the base, started the base. It keeps basing through. It's about 12 pips. 1 to 3 is sitting right. I'm not going to be able to get it right on. 2.99 as close as possible. But you can see we have a racetrack scenario. So we're looking for this to punch, base, pull back, and then go. Put this up there. Red here. But we need the confirmation. So it's 12 for 36. Decent trade. Again, looking for this to rally higher. And again, if it's going to be yen weakness, euro strength today, again, look for it to pull back and go. It is before the, again, the big move, and the 78 shouldn't affect this one too much because we had the big downtrend. Okay. And again, it's just a retracement of that move. Right. I do think this one, again, does belong higher. Again, I think the yen is in a weaker position. All right. Pound dollar. All right. So see, pound dollar, we talked about going long. We're driving back down. We know we have levels of buyers down here. There's a kind of an aggressive, a conservative. There's a new level kind of stuck right here, right? You could look at this level right here and say, okay, listen, we're confirmed off of it right now. We got a lot of room to run. We got 2 trades in here. We got the mom data, right? Month over month data for GDP. And then we got the mom inflation, right? So mom is the name of the game tomorrow. A lot of news, but again, being low here, maybe this one sends it up, and then maybe this one sends it down. So 2 news trades. We'll see what we're able to do. You're seeing right now, again, strong push down off the pound data today, and then it really stopped. See how it's not moving a lot? It's not moving. A lot of indecision, right? I mean, the pound is weak, but what the heck? It stopped moving, right? The dollar, on the other hand, the dollar is continuing to drive, but running into those sellers. All right. So, question is, are we going to have a reversal? And again, it's kind of, kind of a little bit of weak dollar, weak pound. I'd like this one low, and you may think I'm crazy, but again, I'd like to see this long. You can see this one here made it. Where were we yesterday? Monday, we're sitting right. Yeah, it looks like the peak yesterday was actually when we were talking. So it made it to a 1 to 2.7, right? And in this one, you're not going to risk all this to make. There's 3 exactly. So this is one of those ones, again, you probably got taken out on the trail, right? You're not going to go for 3.7 pips and risk 37 pips, right? You're going to trail this one higher. So again, ended up not hitting the 1 to 3 to hit 2.75. You most likely got stopped out probably somewhere back in here. You probably got stopped out somewhere in here, making like 20 pips or something on that one. It happens, right? It happens. Again, look, base. Look at all the basing in here. So again, that's an important level. We'll pull that one off though. Yeah. So either of these positions tomorrow, I'm actually looking for this to be a long base trade. You're seeing the indecision right now because people are really stuck. Wouldn't actually be surprised if it starts to rally back up a little bit with dollar strength. Again, you're going to see profit taking in this one, and that's why we have the chop. So if we can get a green, red, green, we may see this rally back up again. Can. How much is it? Don't be big. Don't be big. 10. Perfect. Love it. Hmm. That actually may be a trade. So GDP on a monthly basis is expected to be negative zero point 0.2. What if it's negative zero point 0.1 or flat, right? It's got zero point 0.7 to play with. Maybe it's worse, but it's got zero point 0.7 to play with. Are they overly negative right now? Right? If they're overly negative, that should be a pound strength based trade. So if we go to dollar weakness right now, because again, hold, you know, there's many reasons why we could go dollar weakness. It's got a limp 66 pips. But if this data is good, could this one help in that 66? Sure, it's got a 90 pip ATR, daily ATR, so it could move. If we start to creep back up again, this is what this may look like. Um, right? If this creeps, and comes to here, right? Comes to here, and then we creep up, right? That could be a potential dollar strength trade, right? But did it pause again? Hold on. Hold on a sec. Sorry, Reese is homesick today. So I'm trying to coordinate things with his mom, whether we're going to take him to the doctor or not. He's been in school week, so it's kind of like the hey guys, what kind of germs can you guys bring to school? So he came home yesterday with a headache, and then I went downstairs today, and he's on the couch. He's like, yeah, I woke up at 4, totally sweating. I was like, okay, put your shirt back on. Don't want to see it. With a fleece blanket on himself. I was like, why don't you wear like a t-shirt and shorts instead of like pajama pants with no shirt and a fleece blanket? But we're just trying to coordinate that with the kid. Feel bad for him. He's been back to school a week, right? Hopefully he's good for practice tomorrow. So yeah, this is I think a possible scenario we're looking for tomorrow. Let me mark this off so it's easy for you guys, to look at. Looking for potential shorts coming at 125.37. Again, I used a 15 minute to kind of find that top, but again, very strong push out of it. I like that one. But again, with those two major news releases, I like this low. Maybe we creep up today. Maybe we get some help from the euro to push it higher. And again, vice versa. Maybe we will push up and then the euro data sends it straight down, and then we look for that long trade. But ideally, what we want to do is we want to look to see how the European release happens. If you want to trade the European release, great. Typically, an hour and a half beforehand is when we should see this one move. I definitely expect there's going to be some movement tomorrow. Even if the number comes in as expected, I would expect there's going to be some movement tomorrow. Just because the anticipation is like, oh my god, what do we do now? And like everybody's like the Monday morning quarterback, right? Trying to figure out what's going to be next. All right, so there we go. Pound yen. So pound yen again doesn't look as dismal. We were looking for buys off this 82.86. You can see we kind of got close. It came to 82.90. We missed a buy, not even 10 pips, and then it started to reverse back up again. We knew we had buyers in this whole area. We had the dotted line right at the 82.90. So I had it 82.97. 82.90. We'll just say 82.90. We'll remove the last digit. And it came down to 82.94. So I missed it by 4 pips, right? It is what it is. It happens. We knew we had buyers down there. We're really kind of pulling back up again. Same thing for tomorrow. I think the 84.23, again, strong move off of this last time. We've just been kind of going back and forth, but we did have a higher low in. We do have higher highs. You can see here to here to here, right? If you look at this, here to there, you can see it's higher, but not by much, right? But it shows us that we should be clean all the way back up top again. So again, with that news release coming in, let's go ahead and mark it off. It's going to be sitting right there. Let's see, how much has it got to move? 74 pips. That's got a daily ATR of 145. So it's about a half of a day's worth of movement to get that high. It's actually not a bad spot. Um, I like that. We'll see what it does. Again, watch an hour and a half beforehand and see which direction, if it's pulling up or down, should give us a little bit of a telltale sign. But right now, there's our tops and bottoms, right? We got this area here. I'm not going to drag that one all the way across. We'll just do it like this. So you can kind of see, you know, kind of where the two levels are that we're looking for. And again, missed that by 4 pips. Wah, wah, wah. It happens. It's a decent bottom. Again, depending if it like an hour and a half, if it pulls down into this level, that could also be a buying opportunity, right? I don't know. A lot of these, the way they're looking, again, if we see again pound weakness continue today, you know, I I could be completely wrong on this one, and again, sometimes we are, but most of the times we tend to be right on this one. Um, it was at point 0.5 going back to minus point 0.2. That's a big difference in swing. And the question is, are they being overly negative? Maybe not. Maybe that's not enough. Maybe it should be minus point 0.5, right? But again, a lot of times when it go in this direction, if it hits dead on, everybody knew it. You don't see movement. If they missed it, or if it does come in, you tend to see the opposite reaction, like, oh, it's bad, so everybody sells it. But that would be actually be good because the market's already prepared for bad, right? Markets are prepared for bad. Bad data comes in, price goes higher. Why? Because all the retail traders see the bad number, not realizing that the market adjusted already, and they try to counter it. So they're wrong. If it comes in, so that would be that would be pound strength. If it comes in less than the forecast, again, market, they screwed up. The market missed it. It's got to immediately adjust. And again, that is also strength. So there's 2 strength versus 1 weakness. I like the 2 to 3 odds, right? The 2 to 3 odds is always my favorite there. So, overall, I'd like to see this pull back down. I'd like to go long for that trade, but we'll see what it does. If it rallies up, I like that one a lot. Again, if it pulls back down again, I think either of these two are good. We're sitting right in the middle. So again, trade in the next 24 hours. Dollar CAD still continuing to push down. Here's the trade from yesterday. It looks like we got out of this trade at about 12:30. Again, small, 27, 28 pips. And funny enough, we talked about the Harry Potter trade in here, and look at the way that happened. So it happened again, and we were looking for a level of basing. Well, here's the basing up top. All right, so there's the original Harry Potter trade, and we mentioned that one yesterday. And if you were waiting for this lower one, the break of 135.75, again, we were looking for a break. Where's the base? Where's the base? Where's the base? There's your base right there. And funny enough, when I drew this, I moved it. That it gave it to us there, right? So again, there's your base. There's your pullback. Boom, 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 boom. And if you didn't want to take it on that push down, you take it on that one, and it literally just got out. There's 3.09, so it's passed. Again, another 9 for 10. So 2 trades in the last 24 hours on this one, looking for pullbacks and bases. We were calling for this one. And again, the base actually shrunk it, but love that candle. And that candle came in late last night. So this is one that you could have put on as a push down to here and said, okay, you know what? I'm going to, if it comes back up and grabbing it, and it did. Right. So it's out. All right. Um, so yeah, overall, I think it's not a bad push to the downside. Hold on one sec. All right. So yeah, with dollar CAD, when we look at the push, right? We knew we had a strong push up, a base here, and again, this is one of those things that we look at. We're like, hey, listen, we got to make sure we get out before this level right here, right? These ascending candles, and that's where we said, okay, listen, there's safe buying. Probably go a little bit lower, but watch out for it. Going across, we kind of turned a little tiny bit above that buying line. I think it has more room to run to the downside, right? I still think it has the ability to push a little bit lower. Is there a great buy in there? Not until we come all the way down to 135, and that requires another 60 pips. Now, can we use any of these levels, right? Can we use any of these levels to be able to trade off of tomorrow? Um, I think a couple things to know. Let's run some fibs here from top to bottom. Right now, it's kind of the same level, but it's been there a bunch. It's kind of chopped through it. Um, I'd like this to push a little bit lower. I don't love that zone. Hmm. I think this would require a move to here ish. Hmm. Require another 40 pips today. Weakness. Now, 40 pips of weakness may seem like a lot with a daily ATR of 70 and a 4 hour ATR of 26, but we have a little bit of dollar weakness coming, but we also have crude oil, right? With crude pushing down, um, yeah, I mean, we got that. See, there's not a lot over here. Again, there's a little hiccup down here at this 35-36 mark. And again, being 1030, maybe we bounce off of that one, but we should have a clear run down to 35-10-ish range. But I'm wondering if we bounce back and forth, would that be enough to give us that long tomorrow? Um, that's really the last major area of buyers is again between 135, which is a huge psychological level, and then 135.10. So, both um, both pretty close. Um, um, Yeah, I think we look for this to come down. I'm looking for something probably down somewhere in this area, right? Again, I think this deteriorates today. I think it continues to go. Oil is way too strong. The dollar weakness seems to be in. Um, yeah. So yeah, I think we look for a flip over there. Dollar Swiss. All right, so dollar Swiss. It's funny. You're seeing this one rally, but you're seeing dollar CAD go down. It shows the influence of oil right there. So again, I'm going to extend this across from yesterday morning. This is where we were. You can see we came off of it again. Love this level even more. I think that, again, every time it touches this level and bounces, I'm more and more in love with this level. We had our clear path through here, but at this point, I think we may drag it up again. There's actually two different trade setups in here with this push. We still have the alert to see if it comes through, but I think at this point, I think we moved the alert up to this level. And again, we still may just take this trade, the breakthrough 88.80, but maybe 88.92 or 88.93. Um, maybe 88.93. Maybe we pull the trigger on that one. Okay. We are high, but remember, this is way too big of a zone. Look how large it is on this one. I mean, it's, large is 16 pips. It's not the biggest, but it has a daily ATR of 55. So percentage wise, that's kind of a big move. I mean, that's a 4 hour window, right? The 4 hour ATR is 17 and a half. This is 16 pips right there. It's a 4 hour window, right? A little bit too much for what we're looking for. Um, but you can see even from the top of this one here and here and here, we're at an area of selling right now. If I use this level instead of the original, which I can't really do, but you can see we're hitting off of it. So with the dollar weakness rolling, will this turn and roll? Sure. CPI will affect this one. You don't tend to have as much movement because of the lower volume. Um, here you go. Look, 5 hours ago, CPI has capacity to spark lots of activity in the FX markets. Yep, absolutely. But going to be lower volume over here, so probably not as much. Um, um, so yeah, I like this one negative. If you were really hard up to get into a trade, it's about 7 pips. You could, it's this one. You could have taken this one. You're up a little bit in it. Maybe if it pulls back one more time. I use cautious on this though, just because we are seeing a lot of dollar weakness in some other pairs. And again, where's the Dixie sitting at right now? Yeah, so the Dixie is cocking back, right? We had that weakness, but now if it starts to surge and if it breaks through here, it should have clear sailing once it breaks through here to go higher to 105. So just I'd be a little bit cautious with this one. It has been here a few times. You can see it is lower. So again, if you're looking for one, great. It's small, 7 for 21 the other direction. Um, yeah. All right. Yeah, Japanese yen, kind of the same thing. Right. We're on to that one right now. We got our alert low at 145.91. We pulled back up. Is there a fib issue right here? The problem with this one is we had such a big gap from Friday to Sunday. What? 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 Here, you want this? Here. What? I'm busy. 10 more minutes. Here. There you go. Put that in there too. There you go. 10 more minutes. Um, so we are kind of at a buy level right now. It is where the top of the gap happened from this weekend. There is a big jump through the top. Um, I mean, I'd like to see a bit more of a push. Again, a lot of basing right here. So again, are we gonna run? Are we gonna hit exhaustion at 10:30? Is this gonna turn? Is it gonna follow? Again, we're seeing yen weakness across the board. So it's kind of one of those ones where it's like, it's kind of there. Um, Again, I think it's important to figure out where price is going to be for tomorrow. Is there potential trade set up from here? If we continue to go through, there's not really a lot. Again, there's a gap. If it comes to fill that gap, um, it's only about 40 pips, right? So I mean, it has the ability to go through. It's not really based off of where it comes here, unless we do some decent basing here. There's not necessarily a long trade because it's 18 pips worth of risk for 20 or for 40. It's only 2 to 1. It doesn't give us enough space to really go up there. But if we do continue to grind higher into that level, there could be that could be where the short comes in for the US dollar. If we turn and roll back down again, I don't think it rolls all the way back down to this level. Not really a lot of buying opportunity. So if this one does come up, if we're sitting here, 147.71, I think it's probably an area where we look for shorts. Um so yeah, it's okay. Yeah, it's okay. So uh, yeah, it's all right. I don't know that I've let as much in here. Maybe and again, if you're looking to get the short, look for a confirmation. Look for a red candle, a green body that does not go higher than the red, and then a red close below it. That could signify. And again, here I'll draw it real quick for you guys. If we see a, you know, that let's change that red, right? Whoops. Um, if we have that pattern, right? Get one of those patterns. Red, green doesn't come above the red, and another red close below. Again, that would signify a trend change here. You could use that as your level of risk, and then obviously take the short position, bring it back down again. Again, this would give us a smaller level of risk, and maybe again we use the original zone here. Maybe this becomes the zone. Yeah, beep beep buds. Maybe that becomes a level of risk right there. All right. We don't know yet. It's not in. Watch this over the next hour, 2 hours, and see how it moves. Okay. Um. Yeah. What do we got here? Oil. So oil. We are surging. Yes. 89.20. Hey, stop. Um. I said stop. Um. Yeah, we mentioned it yesterday. If we break through 89, there's not a whole lot stopping this before 90. Again, obviously, 89 to 89.20 became an area where this was punching through. We said yesterday, we were sitting right here and said, hey, listen, this probably doesn't hold. It's not going to stop it again. And it didn't. It came back down. It rallied. It peaked just over the top, pulled back, and then boom. So, again, finally broke. We said yesterday that we expected it not to hold again. This is where we're looking right now. You can see there is buying down here right at the 86.40 level, right? We have this set of buyers here. Oops. Right? So we have confirmed buying on the top side, kind of supporting this, and then a bunch of steps all the way. So dust all over you. Um, yeah, as far as putting a top in, I mean, we can go up to like a 4 hour, and you can look at this, and it's been a while, right? We're sitting right here right now. 90.28 was the next time. And again, I'll put this over here. 90.28 on the lower time frame was the next time that we had a level of selling. You want to wash hands? Here. Uh, stickers? Here, you want stickers? There, you got some stickers. Um, so we got some room to run. If we get some basic in here, I'd look for a punch higher. Don't necessarily want to get into the shorting game on this one. I think it has the ability to go long. And again, God forbid anything in China comes out half decent, showing that there could be increased demand. Um, I think this one has the ability to push higher. It'd be great. I don't know that China could get worse. I think that they do get worse, showing that demand is lower. I think the only thing we hear out of it is that, again, hey, it's not the end of the world, right? Um, I think we're in trouble with this one. I think once now that we've broken through 89, I hate to say that 90 would be the next target to the top side. So, not necessarily what we want to see, right? And here we go. Natural gas. We can joke about natural gas again. Yesterday it was because things were colder. Today it is warmer, and that's why natural gas is moving. We missed the top of this one. The top came to um, we said 169. I'm sorry, 269 was where we were looking to do. Actually, this is wrong. I should have had it there. There's the green wick. There's the green body in the top. So it actually should have been 68. Yeah, it should have been 268.5. It ended up hitting 268 again. Even at the 269, it came to 268.9, missed it by 0.001. It did what it went to where it should have. It filled the gap. Or the start of the gap. Right now, let's see. I think I'm gonna leave that red. 283.6. Oh God, I don't really want to go above 270. Um, it's funny. We talked about from the Sunday time frame. We were like, yeah, it could be another short week, and it did. It went all the way down, and by you know, oh, I'm on 4 hour. Hold on. Thursday, Friday, Sunday's right in here. Kind of pushed up, and you can see it turning now from this level. So, yeah, I see, buds. Problem is, there's a level of stabilization right there. I think we're testing this 268. Question is, do if we break through, there's a long trade here. I hate to say this because I actually do need to fill it. Yes, pretty soon here. There's 1 to 3. Goes right over it goes over the gap a little bit. Hmm. I like the oil trade better than this one. I like the oil trade better. We've already been here twice. If we punch into again, I think it does go higher. I think it probably has a little bit of a hiccup right here at 257. I'm sorry, 275. Um, you know, 275 is sitting, yeah, right there. It's not the ideal spot for this 1 to 3. So I like the 283. I hope to God we don't get up to 283, but yeah, yeah. Gold. Gold continued to deteriorate. We talked about it yesterday, trying to find where Harry Potter was going to be. We were looking for some type of a push. We have the push down now, although it's getting pretty choppy. There's nothing here to really pull back to. There was the pullback yesterday, I guess this morning at 3:30. There's a level of basing, and we did kind of pull back here. Didn't quite get up to where it needed to be. So we were looking for a push down. Overall, we were looking to get long for that 106. The target yesterday, we said look for 1914. Obviously, it came down to 1907. So it came past where this target was that we were looking for. Um, we were just looking for a base in here, and we just don't have the base yet. Maybe this is the new base. If so, this could be a bigger push down. But right now, wouldn't be surprised if this starts to tick back up again. I was really hoping for a base in there. So this came in. Unfortunately, it came in here. That's where it came in at, but it didn't get the. It didn't actually touch, so it missed. It missed the entry, unfortunately. Came off. Let's pull that. There's no base. There's a little base there, but not enough. I'm gonna say probably. I'm gonna say that's probably the best bet in there. Is that 19, 19, 20? If we can rally up for tomorrow. Right in there. 19, 19, 20. Silver. There's your craziness. 2288 is where we're talking about bouncing. It did this morning at 7. It came back up again. But we knew that there was no real major trade in here. So it's nice to say, yep, we got the bounce. But we talked about 2288 being way too close to 23. The chop back and forth, there's just not enough room to run for it. So it's a hard one. Again, 23, we know it's going to act as a stabilization point both for buyers and sellers. Again, we still like the 2350 up top. It's got a lot of room to run. It's got to move 50 cents. Can it move 50 cents from now till tomorrow morning, news time? Absolutely. Sure, it absolutely can. That's plenty of time to get there. It's just going to require a lot of movement. And again, the 23 is going to be a sticking point. The problem with this one is going to be if we are stuck up at this 2320. We talked about a base with some confirmations. Again, maybe if we push up to there, it's a short. I tend to like to go short for these different type of CPI releases. But again, I think tomorrow, I think the real thinking is the Fed going to pause or hold? And I think it is a pause, but I think there could be the potential in the future for one more bounce or one more pop. So yeah, again, sideways, not a lot of trend in this one. You can see gold is minus zero point 0.5 and this is minus 0.36. So it's there. It's kind of out of sync today. It's not really. It just shows that it's a sideways day. Silver should always be double what gold is, and it's just not there. Maybe it's going to start cycling high and then gold will go positive. Maybe, but right now we're still kind of inside of a box and looking for this trade. Apple, you can see Apple again rallied up, rallied right back down. It's in an area of buyers right now, so it's not in a bad place if you got Apple. Tesla, strong push up and then immediately pulling back down again. Again, if the market's going to turn pretty sour, look for it to go down. Indices are technically all in the red. Russell just barely. Again, I expect this one to be more or less negative. Like I said, all the jitters, you can see all the chop back and forth. We pushed back up and we were kind of in a level at like 930 ish, right? We were pushing back up again. There's nothing confirmed in the overnight. It was all above. I'd say that yes, there was a level sitting right there. And that's what we punched up into and went lower. Overall, I think the sentiment is going to be negative because people are really worried about that CPI and whether the Fed's going to continue to go higher. And again, that negativity is setting up a great trade. So could you have traded this, short at 930? Yeah, as soon as it popped in that level, you could have pulled the trigger for a short. Little dangerous because we knew we had a level sitting right there. It's broken. It should continue to push lower. NQ, right? NQ did the same thing. Again, 930 punches back up. There was no confirmed level. That would have been sitting up here. There would have been your confirmed overnight. So we missed it. Again, overall negative sentiment on this one for NQ. NQ right now is sitting in an area of buyers all in here. So it's got to chop through that level. We'll see. This is the NQ is the weakest on the day. It says Wall Street inches lowers, Oracle slides, investors wait inflation data. See, everything is about CPI, 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 CPI. So I think that's going to be the big thing that people are looking for. But again, as far as opening print, missed the entry. It was a short. YM, wow, look at the choppiness. 930 came back up. Actually, this one did grab the level, right? The level actually kicked in at 8:45. We pushed down. There's nothing lower in the overnight. The overnight confirmation when it came here looks like the 9:30 actually did go up and grab it. So it looks like one of three so far actually did trigger. There, push that across, and you can see. Whoops, 1 to 3 is only right there. So unfortunately, this one's going to be weird because the candle goes above and beyond. I hate how that works. But yeah, basically, there was your touch. There's your confirmation. So it's that level right there. Oops. It goes in there, but I keep moving it around. Anyway, you can see it there. It did go above. So again, 23 for 71 in the other direction. Right. So there's 1 to 3. Again, your confirmed overnight level is there. Nothing was back in here. And then Russell, 830. Unfortunately, this one was down here. There was a confirmed level there. It's okay. Man, look at the volatility in this sucker. So again, 930 was all the way down here. So this one took off and kind of turned at nothing, and now it's lower. So still positive on the day. And again, it was the strongest. It actually technically was green before we started today. And again, you maybe used it and you got stopped out here. So again, you would have lost one, but made 3 on the other one. So actually, this is a very small zone too. This one was pretty ugly at the bottom side, but we're still kind of, again, we drew this last week, or actually, yeah, last Thursday. Being in that channel, you can see we're smack in the middle of that channel again, right? Almost, right. Price is right there right now, so we're almost in the middle of this channel. Again, of the 3 tomorrow, it looks like NQ is probably going to be. There will be a lot of movement in the futures market tomorrow with CPI. So again, look at the negativity today, see where the market moves, and we'll see how this one moves. And again, understand tomorrow too, we have the contract switch, which always tends to pop things back up again. So again, a little bit more risky on those. All right. So yeah, it's all right. Yeah. All right. That's opening print. All right. The one for 4, really, this one I wouldn't have qualified for it. Just the way that it was moving way much lower. Again, it was kind of setting up a trap on that one. So yeah, it is what it is. If you want to say 2 for 4 triggered and one was win, one was lost, great. You're still positive on the morning. The other 2 didn't trigger. So, all right, let's go ahead and do the giveaway for the day. All right, so we got 4 in today, right? I'll give it the 2:30. That's when we tend to cut it off, and then I will close it down. And again, I won't be on. I will be on tomorrow morning, 9:30 Eastern time. I won't be on for the actual news release. I'll be on right at 9:30, so it'll be afterwards. So make sure you guys are looking at what happened from, say, 7 o'clock to 8:30. We tend to see that movement in one direction or the other beforehand. But again, understand the markets could take off with any type of pound data tomorrow morning. All right. So yeah, more you want to drink? Oh, the TV turned off again. I know. Okay, I'll fix it. All right, winner of today's drawing is bam. Wow. Will, that's like twice in a week, right? Didn't you win last Thursday-ish? That's twice. Man, whatever Will's doing, I don't know. I feel like Will's coming back, right? We went for like a month and a half with no mention of Will, and then bam, Will gets 2. Right? Will gets 2. So good for you. All right. Yeah, Ernest wasn't here. Yeah, I know. I'm telling you. You got something figured out. So, all right. With that, I'm out of here. I will catch you guys tomorrow morning first thing. Good luck tomorrow morning. Safe trading today. Stay cool, stay dry, stay hot wherever you guys are. And I'll see you in the morning. Thanks again, and I'll see you then.